Hello everyone, welcome to the class. Last days we were learning about our chapter Maui's Kite. In this chapter we saw that boy Maui, he wanted to fly the kite and he flew the kite 2 times, and what happened? So second time when he flew the kite, the wind became anger. There was a storm took place. So all of you understood it's because of this boy. So all of his friends also went away with him. He became alone, and we saw that he made another kite by himself, and after that he just tied it on a rock and he studied its movements in the sky. Now let's see what happened, what he has done after that. All of you please follow the textbook. Soon he could tell when the weather would be fine or stormy. One day he noticed some men going off to the fields. Now what happened? Now he would be able to understand the weather. By looking at the kite, he studied the movements of the weather. So he could be able to predict the weather. So he can able to say whether the weather would be fine or a stormy one. So one day he saw that men were going off to the field. So he saw some of the men were going to the fields. So what happened? Maui said, "It will rain today," called out Maui. "Tomorrow will be a better day to work in the fields." Now what happened? The Maui said to the men who were going off to the fields, he said, "Today there would be rain." And he also said, "Tomorrow will be a fine day to work in the fields." Now what was the response of these men? See, the men just scolded at him. But soon it did begin to rain, and the men came running back to the village, looking in amazement at Maui. What happened? When Maui said it would be raining, or it will rain today, and he also said tomorrow would be a better day to work in the field. But by hearing those words of Maui, the man scowled. Scowled means frowned. Frown means looking at in an anger way, because the men were very much knowing that this boy doesn't know anything. But actually Maui was true, because when they just hear these words and when they just went out, soon it was rained, and the men came running to the village and they looked at Maui in an amazement manner, because whatever he predicted, it happened, it took place. So the men became very amazed by the words of Maui. Another day, Maui warned a group of women that their clothes would be flown away from the trying place, because his kite told him that there would be a storm that day. So another day what happened? he told the group of women that their clothes would be blown by the wind from the drying place, because he knew the kite told him, or he learned from the kite the weather that there will be a wind, and he told there will be a storm on that day. Later they were out in their yards chasing their clothes which were blowing about in the storm. What happened? After some time later, when Maui said these words, women didn't respond properly. They didn't believe Maui. But what happened? Later on, the storm took place, and the women were running around to collect their clothes which were blowing by this wind. In time, the village people began to depend on Maui and his kite. He taught them how to tell from the dancing movements of the kite which days would be good for planting or fishing or drying clothes. Now what happened? Later on, all people began to believe or began to depend upon Maui and his kite, because Maui used to tell some things about the weather and it became true, and now the people believed that Maui know how the weather. So he also taught the people to learn from the dancing movements of the kite, which days would be a good day for planting or fishing or drying clothes. People now, sorry for the disturbances. People now started calling him teacher of the weather. Even the keeper of the winds no longer shunned him, and the Maui had learned his lesson. Never again did he call for the winds of Ipuiki or Ipunui. Now what happened? Now people started calling. Now after all, the predictions which was made by the Maui, that became true. The people started to calling Maui as the teacher of the weather. Because why the people called him as the teacher of the weather? Because he was able to predict about the weather, what could happen in a future, by looking at his own kite. And now what happened? Even the keeper of the winds no longer shunned him. And now what happened? The keeper of the wind no longer shunned him, because Maui could able to know what will be happen in a future. He knew about the wind, and now Maui had learned his lesson. Now Maui learned his lesson that never again to call for the winds of Ipuiki or Ipunui, because he knew the power of the wind, and he decided never to call the wind Ipuiki or Ipunui, because now he started to respect the winds. Respected. So if we respect the wind also will respect us. These are the verses of our keeper of the wind. Now this is the end of this lesson. I hope you understand it. All of you, please go through the lesson and learn more. This is for today. Bye bye.